It's mind-boggling to think about time travel. What if you went back in time and prevented your father and mother from meeting? You would prevent yourself from ever having been born. But then, if you hadn't been born, you couldn't have went back in time to prevent them from meeting. On April 10, 2013, it was announced worldwide that an Iranian inventor, Ali Razigi, registered an invention at the state-run Center for Strategic Inventions. The invention registered was called the Arraic Time-Traveling Machine, and it sent the media into a frenzy around the globe. It turned out the machine could not physically take a person through time, but rather predict that person's future, forward as much as 8 years with stunning accuracy. This was not the machine everyone expected, but the inventor was very honest in his description. It will not take you into the future, it will bring the future to you, he said. Interesting concept, but is this time travel? We think not, but again, it captured the imagination of people around the world, proving the human mind remains open to finding a way to achieve the most complex of ideas. So, is time travel possible, and how would it exist? The laws of physics prove that time travel is at least not impossible. Albert Einstein suggested the theoretical existence of bridges through time and space, or as they're more commonly known, wormholes. His theory has been further developed by numerous physicists, including Stephen Hawking and Kip Thorne. The idea is that the wormhole connects 2 points in space. An object entering one end of a wormhole would emerge instantly on the other end, even if the openings were separated by hundreds of trillions of miles. Of course, this is highly theoretical, and folding the fabric of space is never going to be an easy concept to grasp. So, what about traveling at the speed of light? Another possibility, traveling across space at a constant speed of 186,000 miles per second. The idea, if you go fast, your clock runs slow relative to the people who are still. As you approach the speed of light, your clock runs so slow that you could come back 10,000 years in the future. But we would need to figure out 2 things. How would we go that fast in the first place, and how would we get back to our own timeline? Traveling 10,000 years forward can only be proven to have worked in 20,000 years' time, unless you're on board the Starship Enterprise on a continuous mission. So there must be a simpler way, right? Well, maybe there is, and maybe it's already been invented by scientists working for the United States government. There are numerous cases emerging from the United States and Russia about alien technology and time travel experiments being conducted by the armed forces. Some of the people who have been directly involved tried to come forward over the years to tell the world their story, but to no avail, either being ridiculed or tormented. In some cases, the people have even vanished. One man who was directly involved in such experiments was Al Belek. Al went as far as to document his story about time travel on tape, video, and CD over hundreds of hours. He even took multiple lie detector tests and passed every one. He was able to recollect with astonishing accuracy the details of the Philadelphia experiment. These were the first tests to send soldiers flying through time, and it worked. Well, sort of. On August 12, 1943, the U.S. Navy conducted a test on the USS Eldridge at the Philadelphia Navy Yard. When the actual test was put into motion, a number of unexpected and bizarre side effects occurred. As the electromagnetic field increased in strength, it began to extend as far as 100 yards out from the ship in all directions, forming a large sphere. Within this field, the ship became fuzzy and indistinct, and a greenish haze formed around the vessel. Then, to the amazement of onlookers, the entire ship vanished from view. It was at this point that the true power of the electromagnetic field that had been created was revealed. The Eldridge had just vanished from Philadelphia altogether. The ship was instantly transported several hundred miles from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia. After a few minutes, the ship once again vanished to return to Philadelphia. The test had managed to render the entire ship out of phase with the surrounding universe. It switched dimensions. This phasing effect had drastic effects on the crew members. During the experiment, crew members found they could walk through solid objects, and when the field was shut off, men were found embedded into the bulkheads, decks, and railings of the ship. The results were gruesome enough that some men went mad. Afterward, several crew members simply vanished. A few disappeared into thin air. Some men entered into what was called the freeze. This is where the man faded from time altogether, unable to move, speak, or otherwise affect his surroundings. Initially, the freeze effect only lasted for a few minutes to a few hours. Interestingly enough, invisible crewmen were still visible to other sailors who had survived the original experiment. After a while, the freeze effect lasted for days or months, and became known as the deep freeze. The deep freeze could drive a man insane in a very short time. Though this is denied by the government, the survivors of this experiment tell otherwise. It was a stepping stone to the other known experiments of Project Rainbow and Project Pegasus. Andrew Basiago claims to have visited President Lincoln's assassination and even planet Mars during Project Pegasus. This is another very well documented case, and Andrew even points to proof and pictures, claiming that in some photos of the past, the person being photographed is him. There is simply too much evidence mounting up about time travel and far too many people stepping out of the shadows. But will we ever be told the truth? Carl Sagan once suggested the possibility that time travelers could be here, but they're disguising their existence or are not recognized as time travelers, because bringing unintentional changes to the time-space continuum might bring about undesired outcomes to those travelers. It might also alter established past events. There is also the possibility that if events were changed, we would never notice it because all events following our memories would have been instantly altered to remain synced with the newly established timeline. It's unclear if we have ever or will ever achieve time travel, but one thing's for sure. People are trying to develop the idea, and some even claim that it's already being used. A famous team of astrophysicists shocked the world on February 11, 2016 after recording the gravitational waves of two black holes slamming into each other 1.3 billion light-years away. This detection supports Einstein's general theory of relativity in a way that revolutionizes scientific understanding of how space and time behave in extreme environments, and astrophysics will never be the same. That includes mankind's pursuit of time travel. Again, media around the world was sent into a frenzy. This appears to be a giant leap forward in our understanding of everything. What do you guys think? Let us know below. Thanks for watching, and remember, the ways at which we arrive at knowledge are hardly less wonderful than the discovery of these things themselves.